So I, of course, have to start this with a Celtic. Time Lord, Robert Williams, the most exciting player on the Celtics in the last 3 weeks, whatever you want to call him. He has been really good lately. He's had a number of double-digit scoring games, and it's all pretty basic center things. It's just he's so athletic that he is really exciting while doing it. And the sky is kind of the limit for him if he can figure out things like his passing, which has already been kind of promising at times, and if he can be a little more disciplined on defense. I mean, he'll pull off some wild blocked shots, and I mean, the guy blocks like 2 3-pointers a night, it seems. But, sometimes he commits a little too hard to somebody who's on the baseline or whatever, and he'll figure those things out. Sometimes he fouls a little too much, but the promise is there with Williams as a guy who can dive to the rim and have real gravity, and he's even hit a couple of jump shots lately. And if he keeps making those, I'm probably just going to lose my mind. Now, he will be up for an extension this offseason. I'm not expecting it to cost too much money, but it's going to cost something, so we'll see there. And we'll see if he ends up taking the starting center spot by the time the year ends. And if not that, then at least give me more of the Tatum, Jalen, Kemba, Smart, and Time Lord lineup. The Celtics don't look too good, but Williams is promising. The next one is from the T-Wolves, and that is Jalen Noel, who has had a number of double-digit scoring games lately. The biggest one was a 28-point game against the Pelicans. He's got real shot creation skills. He has a good enough handle to play off of screens. His pull-up jumper looks really good. He's even shown some off-the-dribble three-point shooting. He might have a little bit of Lou Williams-ness in him, where sometimes the shot's not always the best, but he's been doing it efficiently so far. The Wolves have not given him a whole lot of pick-and-roll opportunities, but he's still finding ways to make plays off the dribble. And sometimes it'll be like he gets a pass from someone, he pump fakes, gets the defender out of there, and then he hits him with a pull-up jumper. And even in that sequence, you can tell that he can handle more possessions run through him. Now, of course, D'Lo is hurt. Beasley likes to take shots. Edwards likes to take shots. And Noel does as well. So we'd have to see how Chris Finch would balance all of that out. But you now see a T-Wolves team that could actually have a bit of pop on offense. Whereas before the emergence of Noel and before Edwards getting a little better, it looked rough there, man. Where between Okogie and Culver and Ricky Rubio, it's just like, can anybody on this team make a shot? But of course, we're going to need D'Lo to come back first before it could start to get maybe a little awkward. I mean, it's a good problem to have, having a lot of dudes who can score. And we'll just see what they do with that. But Jalen Noel is good enough, in my opinion, to force them to be like, we probably should get this guy a few more possessions a game. The next one is Dante Vincenzo with the Bucks. He has been up and down, but I feel like he's having enough positive moments at this point to make me think that, assuming the Bucks keep giving him the opportunity, that he can end up being a pretty strong all-around guy for them by the time the playoffs come around. He's not just shooting threes, although that is sometimes all it seems he's doing in the Bucks offense is just relocating off of Giannis, Drew, and Middleton stuff. But there are times when they are giving him the ball and they're letting him work in pick and rolls, or he's attacking off of closeouts, and sometimes it looks bad, sure, whether he dribbles into traffic or takes a shot you don't really love, but other times he busts out a really nice pass to somebody in the dunker spot, or he'll see somebody in the corner and he'll get it to them right on time. And sometimes he kind of slithers his way around the basket and pulls off a layup or a floater, or he does make the pull-up jumper. And you just go down some of his stat lines, and I just feel like there's too many moments of, oh, look at that, for me to think that DiVincenzo is just some 7-point-per-game role player. He's also grabbing a whole lot of rebounds. I mean, this last game against the Sixers, he had 20 points. He had 4 catch-and-shoot threes. He had a really nice floater off of a pick-and-roll. He had a couple of drives off the catch. He also had that one bad possession that led to a Korkmaz 3 that took the game to overtime, but he was still very good overall. He had 13 boards against the Wizards in the other game. There was a nice little 4 assists, 7 rebound game against the Grizzlies. A really solid 13-5-5 against the T-Wolves. He had 8 assists against the Raptors one game. And again, it is a bit of a process. Sometimes it looks bad, but I feel like he's going in the right direction for the Bucks. Now, that said, he is their one real trade asset left. So if something comes along, maybe they should do it. But I would not just assume that DiVincenzo is going to be a weakness for them once we get into the postseason. I think he's got potential to be a big positive. Even though I will still acknowledge there are the nights in which it looks like he's not really doing much, and I get it. That can be a little frustrating. Our next guy is someone that I talked about in a video kind of recently, Keldon Johnson with the Spurs. The biggest thing with Keldon is his size and how fearless he is going to the basket. Whether it's he has the ball in transition or they give him some sort of pick and roll possession, even if that's not the main thing that he's doing right now, or as I keep saying with this video, attacking closeouts, and he is not fearful at all of mixing it up around the rim. He also goes for offensive rebounds. Sometimes he cuts to the basket and then he's there for a dump-off pass. And even the games where his scoring is not popping off, he's still really efficient. And I feel like his 3-ball looks good enough to where it can be good, even if his percentage right now is like 32%. So I believe in Keldon Johnson to be a real offensive option who could give the Spurs at minimum, 17 a game or so. A lot of it would be off of him getting a bunch of free throw attempts, which have been a little down lately, but I believe in him. And for the last guy, I am going to continue my talk about the Suns, but not actually do a video about them for some reason streak. Dario Saric, who has been playing sometimes next to Ayton or Kaminsky, sometimes as the backup 5. And no matter what he does, it's working. I'm going to give you a crazy stat that is not going to hold up at all. But his net rating this season is 24. I feel like he's been a bit of a jack-of-all-trades offensive big man for Phoenix, where if he's setting a screen and it becomes a pick and pop, the threes have been going in. If he's diving to the rim, well, because he's been playing a lot of center and he's usually doing it against second units, it's not as if the guys who are out there are great defensively, so he's able to either dive to the rim or he can do 1 or 2 dribbles or maybe even bust out a spin move or something. Same thing if the ball handler is trapped. Usually it's Booker or Chris Paul who he's setting a screen for because they're staggering those two's minutes. If it's not one of those two, it would be Cameron Payne probably. The other thing that's happening is Saric is getting some more post-up opportunities. Like against the Blazers, he posted up on Covington a couple times, and again, he's just kind of doing whatever they need on offense. If they need a shooter, if they need a post-up guy, if they need somebody to just set screens, he's kind of checking all the boxes right now.